We're excited to share with you about the organization we worked with in Monterrey, Mexico. It's called Back-to-Back Ministries, and their whole idea is to work back-to-back with locals in the Monterrey, Mexico area and numerous other places where they serve. The idea and what we got to do down in Monterrey, Mexico, which is, by the way, the third largest metropolitan area in Mexico, and yet has one of the highest poverty rates. Even though it is such an industry area, there's still a large amount of children living in these children's homes. We got to work alongside them, and the main place that we worked was a home called Posibilidades, which means House of Possibilities. And we got to interact with these 11 students that were growing up in there. One of them was a family unit, a young girl who at the age of 10 was found when her parents had passed away, and she was living with her older siblings who were addicted to drugs, and she was having to parent her 4 younger children. And to see how in just the last 6 months she has gone from being a mother to being an older sister who can play and who doesn't have to be in the same room with these children. That's what we get to do, is to serve alongside them. And we have numerous stories we would love to share with you this week about what we did to serve in Monterrey, Mexico.
My biggest thing I focused on there, and I knew this when I went down, was his creation. We focused on the mountains forever. I mean, I took so many pictures of mountains, but you don't see those here, and you have to go away sometimes to really tap into the magnitude of what God can do. And it's just like wherever else we may go, what part of the creation are we going to tap into next? Because God is everywhere, and He worked through everybody on this trip.
God came into my heart many times during this trip, from the worship that we did on Sunday, and I realized that God was everywhere. He wasn't just in someone who spoke English's heart. He wasn't just in someone who spoke Spanish's heart, but God was just able to dispel the fears that I had by allowing me to open up my heart and open up my mind to this group of people.
So my family and I chose to go on the missions trip to Mexico because we'd been talking about it for a few years, about going on a trip as a family, and the opportunity came up, so we stepped out in faith, and we wanted to expose our kids to what life can be like for other children outside of the U.S., and we were wanting to serve as a family. Some of the fears that we had as we went into the trip were obviously the language barrier, and another fear that we had as parents was how would our kids handle going on a trip with them having to understand that this was not a vacation, that this was not on our schedule. We could not do what we chose to do all the time. We had a set schedule, and we were there to serve. As soon as they met the orphans, they started playing. There was no issue. It was almost as like they spoke the same language, although they didn't. They spoke the same language of, I'd say, love and friendship, because it was not an issue at all.
Because the kids just came up and started playing with us. Like, they talked to us, but we didn't understand. But like, they'd say Uno, or football, or like soccer, or like, do you want to play this? Or like, do you want to go on the seesaw? Do you want to go on the swings? Do you want to go on the merry-go-round?
Absolutely take this opportunity to share your faith with others. Absolutely take this opportunity to join your family together, to be with other people, to share fellowship, to share God's word. Absolutely is the word I would share.
Our prayer at CWC
is hope
In
Action.
Esperanza en acción.